Most sales reps make a mistake that can be the difference between success and failure, and that's coming to a sales call unprepared. An ancient Greek military leader once said, or at least they should have said, "The battle is won or lost before the warrior steps into the arena." Hi, I'm Steve Benson, CEO of Badger Maps, an application for field salespeople. Today, we're going to focus on how to master the preparation for a field sales call. Why should you listen to me? Well, my whole career has been in field sales and focusing on maximizing field salespeople's success. I was Google's top field salesperson before I started Badger Maps, a company that helps field salespeople. So this is basically all I've been thinking about for 10 years. In this video series, Training Tuesdays for Field Sales, I focus on showing you the tips and tricks to the key field sales skills that I've developed over the years to help you close more deals. First, our field sales stat of the day. You probably know that field sales is really important for companies, but did you know that 1 in 8 full-time jobs in the United States is a sales job? What I'm going to show you today is a key skill that you can use to close more deals and be more successful in sales. All right, so let's get started. Today we're going to talk about 3 things for you to prepare for a field sales call. Number 1, we're going to talk about how to do research before a sales call. Number 2, we're going to talk about how to do a preparation call or a pre-call. And number 3, we're going to talk about how to think about and approach who's going to be in the room. The first thing we're going to do, how to do research before a sales call. So the first thing, you really want to understand what your prospect does before the sales call. So you want to understand this person's role in an organization and how that maps to other parts of the organization and other people in the organization. So their title might be Director of Sales Operations, but what does that mean? Does this person report to a Senior Director of Sales Operations, or do they report to the VP of Sales? You can often figure out really what their role is. Another great thing to do in terms of preparation for the call is to look up the person, look at their LinkedIn profile, and look for common things you have with this person. Google search them, find out things that you can talk about to build the relationship, right? Like if it's very apparent from this person's Facebook profile that they love skiing and you love skiing or even kind of like skiing, you can talk about skiing and you can talk about the ski trip you took last year, etc. So look for common people you know. LinkedIn's amazing for this, right? So you can take all this knowledge that you learn and put it together to get a really clear feel for who is this person and where do they sit in the organization. So the next thing I'd like to understand is the company. So the more you understand about your prospect's company, their industry, what are the important drivers of the business, the better you'll be able to map your solution to their problems. People often ask me, like, well, Steve, why were you a successful salesperson? And I don't think it was because I'm the most articulate guy in the room or the smartest guy in the room or the best salesperson in the room. But one thing that I did a lot better than a lot of other salespeople when I was a rep was that I really understood people's businesses, I understood their business model. And so you can learn this kind of thing from the website, from articles about them. You can search their company on Google News, find out what's going on right now, but really understanding what are the analysts saying about this company? What's the general opinion? What are their executives saying? Most companies have like 3 major things that they're working on at a given time, and you want to be able to map your solution to one of those major 3 things, because then it's really easy to get funding, and it's much easier if the decision maker at the company that you're selling to can attach this project to one of the major 3 initiatives the whole company's working on for the year. All of a sudden it really greases the skids to get a deal done. So understand the company. Next, try to understand the context at the company under which this conversation is going to occur. Are you attached to a specific project? Or is this person in charge of that project? Are they supposed to find solutions for that? Figure out why are they having this conversation? What's going on in the organization that made them land on your website, download a white paper, and become a lead for you that now they invited you to their office to have a conversation? Why is that happening? A key thing is to really schedule this out, and I didn't always do this when I was a rep, but I always kicked myself when I didn't. But you really have to just block off some time on your calendar to do your homework. Capture that information somewhere that you can have it just like as you're riding up the elevator to go see this person, you can like glance at it and bring it up in your mind again. So the next thing that I'd like to talk about is doing a pre-demo call. So how would I set this up? I might say, hey, would you like to have a 5-minute prep call before we have the call with the group, just to make sure that we can be prepared and make sure everything goes smoothly? I want to make sure that we can focus on the things that you want to get out of this and what's most important to you. What are the main goals that you want to achieve with this meeting? That can be done over email. It's better if it's done on the phone so you can actually get some back and forth. And not to mention, in a pre-call like this, you can find out things like, do they have the budget for this? Who's the decision maker? Is this a part of a bigger project? How is the decision going to be made for this solution? So why don't we go over now what types of questions you'd want to ask and get some texture there. So let's just kind of pretend that I'm the sales rep and you're the you're the person. I guess you can't talk back, so we'll pretend you're talking back. So I'll call you. Ring ring. So hey, I wanted to call and check if everything's straightforward and all set up for tomorrow's demo, if that's okay with you. You can work out logistics. So like, hey, we're meeting at X location in X meeting room and for X amount of time, right? A good question might be, hey, just to make sure that I'm focusing what's most important to you, Mr. Customer, what's the main goal you want to achieve with this meeting? Another thing you could ask, so today, how are you solving this problem? Like obviously, you guys have this problem today. What are you doing? What does it cost you to not be doing it? And then in the actual meeting, you might be able to say, hey, well, you mentioned that this costs you 2 hours a day per person involved, and that is a real problem. The final thing, the third point on how to prepare for an in-person sales call is knowing who's going to be in the room. Who are the proponents or your sales champions, or what do I need to give them to be my champion and to have the tools to convince the other stakeholders in the room to actually go through with this? And who's your opponent? Who are the people that don't want to do this? Does the CFO in the room think that this is a stupid waste of money? If that's the case, then you're setting it up for later when there is going to be money, and that's important to understand. Or maybe you're saying you're able to show, well, there might not be money, but this is going to make you this money and this amount of money in this amount of time. This is the payback, and so it really is worth it because you're going to make the money back in 5 months. Knowing who the final decision maker is, who's the person that really ultimately controls this and controls, are we going to make this purchase or not? Those are the 3 major things that I wanted to talk about in terms of what you can do to prepare for a great sales call. We talked about doing your research before the call and really getting a solid understanding of the people involved and the company. We've talked about doing your pre-call, doing a preparation call, where you're able to really tease out the information that's going to make the call be more successful. And then we've talked about understanding who the people are in the room. If you do those 3 things, you're well prepared for a fantastic field sales call. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion, and we'll talk soon. Hey, this is part 1 of a 3-part series on how to master field sales calls, focusing on in-person sales interactions. If you've enjoyed these tips, we have a ton of content for field salespeople that we've made available. Just subscribe below and check out our website. Badger Maps makes an application for field salespeople that helps them be more successful, so check that out too. Take care and happy selling!